Somebody had asked me the other day how I did this, how I built these stone abutments, stone pillars, I should say, for my bridges that I'm building. And I'm working on a couple now for well, should be this way. A couple now for a plate girder bridge, which I've been putting together out of pieces. But basically, it's not too bad. I happen to have a piece of 2-inch foam, so I just cut one block out of it. The other one was 2 halves glued together, and it's just, I was going to fill the cracks, the seam down the middle, but it doesn't matter. Not for me, it doesn't. But anyways, what I did, I cut my block, and it's like 3.5 inches wide at the top. It's 4 inches wide at the bottom, and then I just took a 1/2 inch off each side just to give it a little different look. Instead of just straight up and down, I made it just a little beveled, more supportive of the weight it would be under in real life, I guess. But anyways, I need the concrete base for it, so I just took this and set it on her and said, well, that looks nice. And then I just marked it. And what I did when I marked it, I just put my pen against it, and I let the pen be my measuring tool when it works. But basically just put the pen against it and draw your line. Okay, it doesn't have to be straight. You're going to cut it straight when you're done. And then on the other end, I just give it about the same width. So after I cut it out, then I'll just take this and I'll just center it by eye, back on there. And who's going to see it, really? I mean, your friends? If you do a good job, they're going to like it. And, you know, this is more for fun and to please yourself, I guess, more than anything. That's what I do it for. I mean, yeah, it's cool to show you guys some of this stuff. And I think it's great people want to copy it or ask how it's done and all that. That's great. There's so many people out there that tell you this kind of stuff. It's out there. Good old YouTube, man. It's got everything on it. So anyways, you just take this and cut it all. And I don't have any fancy tools, nothing to get excited about. I got some leftover stuff from caveman era that I use. Like this, you know, I was talking about this. Okay, this is about 1 5/8. So I'll just go down here and make it 1 5/8. Make a mark. Square it off. And I cut this on a big table saw, not a little, you know, Tonka toy kind of thing. Then I just check it to make sure that it's going to be the same width all the way around. And there it is, pretty centered. So yeah, it'll be fine. That'll work out all right. And then hoochie coo goodbye, and just cut it off. And that's the end of that project. All right. I don't put these on till the end, because it's just hard to handle the things with these on the top and the bottom. So there's that, the bottom one. Now when I make the top one, I just turn the thing upside down and just do the same thing with that end. And just pick something that looks nice. Because you can always trim it away. The foam's easy to cut away if you don't like what you see. And it, you know, doesn't have to be perfectly square either. These are old trestle supports, bents. Well, they're not bents, but piers, I guess is the word I prefer to use for them. But they're just like an old pier. Like old concrete ones or whatever. These are, and you know, the more they show the age, the better they are. So see, this is, now that came out pretty square on its own. I didn't even need to really draw these out. And I really don't need to. I don't know why I'm even doing it. Just use your eye. You know, once you get your eye going, it's easy to do a whole much more stuff than, you know, having to fiddle around and measure every single little thing. And if you watch some of these guys, there's a couple I watch that they have the eye for this. And, you know, I've been painting in the paint sign business artistic business, whatever you want to call it. I've been doing this all my life. So I just got the eye for it, you know, and I get them close. I don't want them to be exact. The real world isn't exact. There's nothing about it that is. It's kind of what makes it so cool. And then you do this with this, and this with this, and that with that. And then when you're ready, you glue it on, you line it all up, and hey there, you know, bada boom, bada bing. There it is. So, anyways, now, the guy was asking how I made the stones and all that. There's 80 different ways to do it, and I've tried every tool I have at my disposal and still haven't done too good with it. But like these things, you want them to look beat up, right? So just take, and X-Acto knives is like the tool of choice. These are God's tool, God's knife. These things are fantastic, but you can just cut little, you know, and a sharp blade, of course, always works better, but you can just cut little notches in here, any shape you want, man. They don't have to be perfect, you know, and then you can just do something like this and make a slice in it and curve your little slice. Then what I do is take my screwdriver. Let me guess. No, here it is. As you can see, I live here. So I take my little flat screwdriver and then just take this and poke it in there and just kind of open the hole up a little bit. And open up this one a little bit. And see, you've already got a crack in it. Now, if you take this and run this up, let's see, let's come out of here and go this way with it. All right, let's stop. And just stick this in there. And there you go. Now, when you paint over that, it'll partially fill that in, but it'll look like cracked concrete. And that's it. You know, and then I put, like this one with a chipped corner. If I turn this way, it could look like it was cracked from the bottom up. See how that comes together? And I could leave this as a crack all the way up the thing if I wanted to. Maybe chisel it and clean it out a little bit. But you see where I'm going? Or you can turn it over this way. Now you got these sticking up. See the pieces of concrete that are missing from over the years of sitting? And all the water that's run down here and got in all these mortar joints that are going to be here. I mean, it's, you know, again, the real world thing. Just go out and look at this stuff. Stop along the road and look at some of these things, you know. Make time for it. Especially if you enjoy doing it. And it's a lot of fun. This is actually when I first really just got into this miniature stuff so much. You know, when I was younger, I just bought everything. But this is more fun. But I got, you know, almost 50 years of painting and learning and all that. So I guess I just know how to do it. Well, anyways, don't be afraid to use your eye. Don't be afraid to mess up. Everybody's going to tell you the same thing. Don't be afraid to screw up. So that's kind of how that goes. Now, as far as the stones go, and then I'm going to cut this off because I guess the camera doesn't run very long. But anyways, what I do for the stones, I'll do a couple at the top here so you can see what I did. I just, you know, and there's two ways. Well, there's a lot of ways. You can do it any way you want. But the first one I made, I did this with my stones, okay? I do all these in here and just kind of put these wherever I wanted. Nothing in mind, nothing, you know, I didn't look at any pictures other than something somebody else has done. And then I looked at some boulders out in the open and big stones where they're building some banks and stuff around here. But see, that you can draw these in like this, and they don't have to be perfect, because when you put your screwdriver in there, you're going to mess them all up anyways, so why bother? Why spend all that time? The old buddy again, and just take these and just cut through these places here. I don't know if you can see what I'm doing, but you just cut through these like this. Let me move over here, maybe you can see it better. You just cut through these. I do this, my blade's getting dull, I need a new one. The sharper it is, of course, the easier it is, but just, you know, just follow the edge. Don't worry about being nice and smooth corners and all that. Just, you know, this is nature. You don't think God or somebody else sat there and you know, sat down and said, oh, I'm going to make all these rocks nice and round and smooth. No, I don't think so.
He was probably riding over a trestle somewhere and just chucked the stones over the side and said, "There's stones for you, that's what you get. Take it or leave it."
I don't know, maybe. But anyways, you just keep doing this to all of them. I'll show you in a second here with the screwdriver part that makes the difference. Okay, see, I am not doing anything right. Or you can just do it like this without making any marks on it. Just cut yourself out some stones. And you can make them square like bricks. You can make them, you know, cinder blocks or basement blocks or wherever you're from, whatever you call them. You know, you can sit here and cut them out straight. Then this would come around here like this to the outside edge. Now, I leave these sticking out on the edge. Now, you also have to remember, see, I already forgot. You have to bring this out here. The part of that rock is going to show on this end. But I can get away with this like this. All right, now let me show you what I did. Again with a screwdriver. And just push in these holes. And I don't worry about this top piece up here because it's going to get cut out. But just push these holes open. And the reason they have to be opened up enough is so by the time you put your paint on here and whatever else you're going to do to it and weather this thing, these holes will fill up. You'll hear people tell you that as you watch other videos. They're going to say, you know, watch out for this, watch out for that. The holes are going to fill up. Okay, now, I don't know if you can tell in the light. Can you see that? I don't know if it even shows up, but it shows that the edge of that's a little round. Well, if I take and push that in there, see how it makes that rock even more rounder around the edge? So it gives it some, I don't know, 3D-ism, if you will, or something like that. Just make the words up as you go along. Nobody knows, I guess, unless you tell them. But, see, there's that. And you just do this around all of them, everything. Take this right here. Now, like this little piece, okay? Screwdriver won't go in, so I'm just going to cut this open a little bit. And I'm going to stick this in here again. But, see it? Push it back in there. Well, what if it's got a hole in it? You know, this thing was built in, I don't know, pick a nice date, 1800s or something. Of course, the stone and the mortar and stuff's going to start falling out of it. But things back then were built so well that they lasted until now, you know, in our 2025 age and all that. So, you know, you got to let your imagination fill in the blanks for you. That, oh, yeah, that's right, I've seen some of these when I was a kid. Or, yeah, I know where there's still a couple of these left. Or go look them up online, old stone bridges and things. And you'll see exactly what they look like. But that's all you got to do with this thing, is just sit here and, you know, and the screwdriver just kind of, you know, I don't have any fancy tools. I think I said that earlier, but you don't need them. Sure, if you want to be that cool guy who does everything, you know, 100%, well, go on, get the tools in. Buy yourself one of them little tiny lathes and those little saws and knives and hot knives and things like that. And I think I'm going to get a hot knife probably. Some of these things would be a lot easier. Now, real quick, around the edge, this is what I did around the edge to make them look like stones. I just cut these off. And I cut them at an angle because I need just a little flat piece at the top for my plate to sit on. But you just cut these like this. Okay, I forgot already. See? I get yakking and I forgot what I'm doing. But this has to be the end of a stone over here. Okay, then there'll be another stone here somewhere in this neck of the woods. You can open this up with your knife too. This foam works a little different than the other foam I was using, but you get the idea. So anyways, I take these and I cut these off at just a little bit of an angle so everything doesn't fall apart too much. And if you do accidentally tear a piece off you didn't want to lose, glue it back on. I'm not telling anybody. And then this comes off. Okay. So see, when you look at it, once I clean all this up, you're not going to see any of these little turd birds floating around on here. But once I clean this all up, you see how you have the edge of the rock and they're a little tattered. Over here in the corner, I did this to a couple of them on that other one that I just posted some pictures of. And I did this, and I did some slashing and a couple little things like this, and then I just broke a couple little pieces out. It just made the rock look like it was older. And that's pretty much, you just do that down the whole thing. But do you see the difference in it? And then you do the, oh, when you put your plate on here, see how it looks more like stone across the top? And then maybe some mason came out when they were laying the stone, and after they capped it with this, then the mason came out and would have filled these with mortar and whatever. You know, and then when you go to weather it, I'll show you that here in a little bit. Right now, though, I'm going to keep picking away at this thing, and then when I get a little more done, I'll take a little more video, and then come back 3 or 4 times, just because I'm afraid the camera's going to run out. So, hasta luego. See you in a bit. As I was saying, see, now I got it just about all done, and I hope the pictures came through that we took while I was working on this. And you see, look how these holes are a little different over here. This foam acts a little different. But I've also noticed I've been holding this, you know, as I work on this, and it's squishing the foam over here. So maybe something to consider. Don't squeeze too tight. But this foam acts a little different than the light blue foam, which I've been using this mostly. And I've glued it. You know, the last one was made out of 2 pieces of this. 2 pieces thick, I should say, for 1 1/4 wide, by the way. That's what this is. 1 1/4 wide. But this is, my knife cuts through this different than it does through this. And I really didn't think the cell composition would be that much different between foams, but it seems to be. Because I put a new blade in, and it's still just, you know, I don't know, something just to bear in mind. So here we are, almost done. And I did find another way to put the screwdriver through here that just kind of makes these all the same. Not that it matters all that much. Well, it doesn't to me. It might to you, you know, depending on exactly what it is you're looking for. But I noticed I push it through instead of just, you know, poking it out. It seems to work better. So you can see this doesn't take all that long. And don't know how long I've been monkeying with this thing, since about 5 o'clock, I think, maybe. And it's 7:52 now, going on 8. It hasn't taken that long. Watched a few videos, and I stopped for a few minutes. Had coffee and a cookie and a couple little relaxing things like that. But here I am now finishing up. So, anyways, like I've been saying the whole time, do what you want. I mean, you know, this is your gig. It's got to make you happy. Like when I cut this, you know, I have all these happy little stones. See all my happy stones? They're like the happy trees I make. And all the other happy things I do. Gotta love Bob. Between Bob Ross and Bob Vila, geez, learned all kinds of stuff in my life so far. All right, almost done with this. So we'll just fake these out here and let the screwdriver do the rest. Let's see, one here and one here. Excuse me, and then we get after it with this. And this seems to work pretty good. But I gotta watch how deep I go. I don't know, you look at some of these, man, it's like, whoa, that's a little too deep in there. But I think, like I said earlier, you know, when you fill it with the paint, it may not be so bad. But see how easy going sideways opens these cracks up? Much better. So, I guess I learned something. Again. Yeah, I learn something new every day. That's some of the cool parts of life. Getting out and learning things. So much to learn. Never ending. So anyways, this is it. So easy as it is. Just a matter of doing, you know, just having the patience to do it. And you can walk away anytime. It's not going anywhere. It's not like it's going to rot or mold or whatever, you know. But anyways, there. So, that's that. Now, this thing. Now, see, we already got this in here. Oh, by the way, if you remember earlier, there was that big cut in the piece of foam. I just left it in here and made it kind of look like the whole thing was splitting open. There's no sense in me taking that apart. It was there. I just used it to my advantage. All right, you get in there. See, some of these I've squeezed so hard I closed them up. But that's all right. We'll leave it like it is then. So, now, this. Like I was saying, right here, we have already some broken concrete and stuff for this pad that this pillar was built on, this pier. So now, again, I'll do this side too, and I'll make it a little rough, because this is just so much fun. A little bit like hee-haw here, and some here, and I might even cut out a piece of this one. Just tear them out, make another crack over here, and hope the next cold drag that goes over it doesn't bring the bridge down. Or some wildfire doesn't come along and destroy everything. You never know. The real world is not a pretty place. Also, did this too on a couple things. I took and I just tacked it along the sharp corner of the desktop. And it gives it just a little different look than usual. See what it does on the end? Just something different. Doesn't have to be anything fancy. Now, you take this. Will anything come out of it? Maybe not. Now when we paint it, that'll be a little buggered up. This one's kind of buggered up on the edge. We'll just leave it alone. Okay, so that's that. Yeah. And then one more for this. And this is how it's done, son. I'm gonna cut this off tonight, the video. And tomorrow night, I'm going to make the rest of the video weathering this thing, painting it, and doing this. And of course, this is all one video now. I've edited it all and put it all together, but you get the idea. So there's that, and the old trusty screwdriver. A little bit here, a little bit there, a little bit here, a little bit there.
man, look at that. That come out nice, man. Like, wow, man. There it is. That'll work. That's good enough, man. I can make a career out of this. Do what you like. Enjoy it. Make it feel good. It's a happy little solution for all your happy little trees and your happy little piers. It appears to be that I am basically done with this, other than to glue it together. Let's put the ugly side over here. How about like this? There. Wait a minute, the track's pushed down on that part. Let's put this up. Does that work? Nah, you won't even see it anyways. I'll just make it look nice for me. There, that's what it'll look like, pretty much. And then when I weather it, paint it, what I use is a little bit of this. This is what made the concrete on these look like concrete, was I have mortar. And I just take my little cup of water and I get the brush soaking wet and I just start using this stuff. And I put this in here and then I brush it on there and let the mortar sit right on there, and it'll harden up on there. But then I got to go around and knock the little pieces off. Once I knock the little pieces off, then I sprayed some hairspray over it to glue everything steady, which works just fine. It's better than a lot of the other stuff. And it's a lot cheaper. Of course, hairspray is getting to be as expensive as glue. You know, and I must keep my lovely locks all in proper position. The conductress is laughing at me. So anyways, there. Tomorrow, step 2, get it weathered and put the bushes on. All right, then where was I? Oh, time to paint. So, first thing, oh, I should show you this first. This is my base paint that I've been using. And whatever color, I mean, you know, different projects require different colors. Rust. You know, you can buy a can of why can't I think of these when I need them? This burnt umber. Is that what this one is? Burnt sienna. This. I got this at Hobby Lobby. It was like, I don't know, just under $5. Then the Glidden came from the Home Depot. It's an exterior paint, by the way, but it works nice for covering this foam. And this stuff is ancient. I used it on the porch outside, but it's just lumpy and thumpy, and you know, if you don't keep them clean and you can't get the lid on tight, this is what happens. A lot of you probably know that. But you know, when you go to put the lid back on these, if you take a brush and clean this out, put your lid on, then turn the can upside down, shake it a little bit, then set it back up, that paint will seal that around on the inside enough to make it last a lot longer. And you can take a nail and poke little holes in here, but I don't see. My teacher taught me that in '76, you know, put some nails around the edge for my sign paints. But I didn't find it to really do much good, you know. So I don't even bother doing that anymore, but it doesn't hurt, really. And then this right here, I want to show you this quick, is what I started off with. I bought these at Walmart. Don't tell anybody I was in a Walmart, but this is the brand. And it's great paint for this kind of stuff. Very nice, soft, flat finish. And I've been going to Walmart to get my spray cans of colors and things, the flat finishes. This Home Depot costs about $3 more than it does at Walmart. Like $6 something at Walmart, and like, I don't know, $8 to $12 for a spray can at Home Depot? Why would I pay that? So anyways, this is my base coat. So it's just as simple as it sounds. You know, I can work it out here a little bit. Some water. It doesn't matter really how thick it is. The thinner it is, of course, the better it gets down in the joints. So this is it. I just put this all over this thing. And I make sure it drips in there. I mean, seriously. I don't know if you can see how wet I'm really getting at. But this is it. As wet as you can get it, and get it all over this thing and get it down in there. This foam is weird. I'm going back to my blue foam. But anyways, you see what I'm doing there? Just making sure that this is so wet when I put it on here. See, the brush is wet. Let it run out. Let it drip down in there. And if it's so thin that it runs out and runs down the front of it, of course you're gonna brush that in. Now you can see how thick I've got that paint. And it doesn't matter if it's got little thingies in it, brush them aside. Sometimes they might even help with the looks. So anyways, this gets really piled on there. What's so funny?
Because you keep putting your hand wherever I'm putting the camera.
Well, sit still.
See what I mean?
It's me bloody conductress. She's eyed again. All right, there. See how wet that is? Just hold still. Oh, bloody women. Anyways, that just goes like water, basically. I mean, I could actually just make this in a cup of water and probably just pour it on here. But that'd be too easy. So you have to make sure you get it all down in the pores of this thing. And, you know, this is my base color for everything. So even when I put the concrete on up here, as in the mortar mix that I use, this still goes on here. Excuse me. So this is this for the moment. Really get it on there wet. And then it's got to dry. I usually leave it overnight, so I'm going to film this in a couple different pieces too. Because just dry time. I'd rather make sure it's dry and not just a big pain in the dupa or the ass or whatever you prefer to call it. And there, see, that's wet. Just take it and just flush it in there. Not going to hurt a thing. I don't think I got it wet enough to actually pour it on there. And get it back down in there. That's what's great with these brushes too. And these brushes came from Walmart. God, what did they get, 30 of these or something? 20 brushes for 10 bucks or something? And I wanted to tell you too, while I can see this, I don't know if you remember or not, a little bit back, I knocked a couple of these out. Where'd the other one go? Up here? I'm leaving them out. And probably when I mount this thing under the bridge to hold the bridge up, I'm going to make me a couple little pieces that would fit in here and leave them lay on the ground like it just fell out and landed there. Same with a couple of these other ones. It's just a nice little feature to add to it, you know. I mean, the thing's old. You remember what I said earlier, you know, these were made in the 1800s or so. Then that's what happens. These things are getting old and they're falling apart. Hey, where'd you go? What are you doing over there on that side? Get over here. So I need tons of water on this thing. Man, this thing is really getting thick. And I put some water in this paint just before we started the video. And it's still can't get it wet enough to get down in there. It's really getting dried out. Okay, I'm not going to bore you with the rest of it. I mean, you can figure this much out of it. This is what it's, you know, what it's all about. See, I got it back down inside these places. Really soak it in there. See how that's like a little bubble there? See it pop? So you just keep slamming this stuff back in there till all those things are, you know, done. Like up here, I can still see some pink. Even though I'm probably going to put a little mortar, push a little bit back in there when I'm done, I still got to make sure it's colored, because if I miss something, you know, you'll spot it. I guarantee you that, because, you know, when you start doing this kind of thing, or if you already do this, like me being in the sign business, you know, it's been with me all my life. You drive down the road and you look at signs. I mean, it's part of you. You drive along and you see all these things. You see these signs. It's like, boy, look how crooked that is. Or look at the colors they used on that. Or what 12-year-old designed that one, or whatever, you know. But, I mean, you also have to remember that everybody starts out somewhere, but, you know. I don't know. I should keep my mouth shut. No, I shouldn't. Still pretty country.
Yes, you should.
Eh?
So yes, you should.
She's cruising for a bruising. And I'm going to be just the one to bruise you. All right, so there. All right, I'm really slopping this in here now that I'm starting to work with a little bit and see what it is. Sloppy, sloppy, sloppy. But see, now I can take the brush and just wipe that whole thing off in that hole and then tip it like this and look at it. See it running? Well, this is what I'm going to do with it. So it's not going to go to waste. Flood the thing. It's called flood coating when you do something like that. People actually paint. Oh, look, I got green moss growing on it already. I haven't even finished it. So that's what I was saying. Look at this. There's nothing down in here yet either. See, I can see some of them. I turn it upside down, you get a different view, and you can see some of the things you missed. So, buttons on your underwear. This is that. Let me finish this up, and then I'll let this dry, and then we'll come back and jazz it up a little bit. All right?
All right.
Until then, cheerio, ta-ta, teti-bye, and hasta lumbago. If you've been following along this far,
And not falling asleep.
You're doing pretty well. And not falling asleep, yes. Now, just start with a color. It could be any color. I guess we're going to start with this. Why can I never remember these colors when I need to remember them? Burnt sienna? Is that it? Burnt umber? Burnt sienna. Not bad for a white guy, huh? All right, here. So this, and just a wee splash of water. Not much, but enough to get some color on this thing, all right? So, just get after it, get some color on it. Doesn't matter where you put it or how much you put on there now. In the end, it'll all take care of itself. And I don't have any particular way that I do this, and I don't worry about it matching the other one. I don't want two perfect looking sets, just for the simple fact that not all stones are created equal, nor are we as people or anything else for that matter. So it doesn't even make any sense to worry about something like that. You're creating. You're the Michelangelo. Sound more like Dracula. Anyways, just get some color on here for starters. Just kind of like that Scoob. Just put a little on there, and Daphne will like it just like it is. All right, and these are nice for hanging onto this like this too. All right, and the other, I do one side at a time, just for the simple fact that this stuff dries really quick. And we got the fans on in here, the AC's on, so when that comes on, the air's blowing around in here. The fan's blowing down on everything right at the moment. Well, that doesn't help any. So now, there, okay. I don't know what that looks like on camera in color, but...
Baby poo. That's what it looks like.
Whoops, too much water. So let's try with just a dab of this now, here and there, okay? You don't want it everywhere, just wherever you think it's going to look cool. Let it flow, let it flow. Happy solutions, and then maybe a bit of this, huh? How's that? With a bit of this, and just kind of put this around here. And when it dries, most paint, when it does dry, gets a little darker. Okay, and a little bit of this, maybe to kind of spread this around a little more or something like that. Hard to say. But you see where it's going? So this is where your imagination takes over. And you just go ahead and do whatever it is. Now, we'll try just a little bit of this black to wash around here in a few places. All right? Just to see what happens. All right. Now you have to watch with black because it's, as you can see, it overpowers everything. Okay, so let's put just a little bit of this back over this. We don't want it too dark. Now, getting down in the cracks. See, I still got blue showing. Now, that's my bad. After we went through all that stuff making watery paint yesterday and all that. But, you've been warned. So pay attention in the beginning to what you're doing, and you shouldn't have this problem. And a lot of it's gray down there, and that may be gray and not blue I'm seeing, but, you know, anyways, it probably should have been like black or something, I don't know. But now that we got that, let's grab one of these jobbers over here and just do this quick and see what we got for starters. All right. Okay, see how the colors kind of come through? Generally close. Probably could be from the same quarry, could be from the same dig. Hard to say, but you get the idea. Maybe a little more of this in a few areas. Let's get some more. I never put much on the palette because we're both tightwads, and there ain't nothing worse than wasting things when you don't have to. So, maybe a little more of this right in here somewhere, huh? And the board's plenty wet, so this, maybe a little more of this, right down in here, just keep it kind of somewhat consistent. Now, I don't know, I'm all right with that. By the time this dries down, it's going to look even different, or more different. But let's put this up here. A little bit of green, huh? Just maybe a dab of it. Not too much, just a dabber. Come on. A little bit of water and a little bit of green up here. Maybe down here, just a hair. That would be your moss, mold, mildew. Whatever have terms you use for that. Now a little black to kind of make it, you know, silky looking. There's some more green. Maybe a little more. Okay. And maybe down here. Maybe just a little bit here. Because you know, as the rain runs down these things, everything changes. Everything could be completely different. Maybe a little bit of this back up in here to kind of help lighten that up. Could be just a hair too dark, so we'll just throw a little bit of this up there. But see, basically, we have the same things. Now, I know I made these stones a little bigger than this one, but that's all right. It's my railroad. I can do what I want with it. And these are compacted a little tighter. But I didn't put any mortar in these joints. I left them open. I think in this case, you know, like this one, I didn't put any mortar in the joints, actually. I think I like just leaving the dark like that. Because like I mentioned before, these are really old piers. These were built in the 1700s, that long ago. You know, there was steam locomotives going over this thing, coal-fired, whatever. All that dust and dirt and everything would have got in here will help irritate the concrete, which I'm sure back then was hand mixed. It wasn't, you know, you didn't have a truck bring it out and deliver it. So that could be, you know, in this case, my story is a lot of it's just falling out. Just like this rock, it finally fell out. The mortar it's just old. You know, and Mother Nature and pollution have wreaked havoc on it. So now let's do this one over here with a little bit of black this time. Like this. It's got some green mixed in it. And put a little dabble-do-ya of this down through here. Alright. And this in here. See how it changes just adding the paint? Look how it changes the look of the stone. Just automatically gives it a whole different, you know, situation, if you will. Alright, a little black again. See, sometimes that green gets a little heavy on you because it's got so much black in it. And that's part of it. And then some more of this. Okay, see what we got? And maybe you want just a little moss or mold hanging on a couple of these. I mean, these stones could be sticking out a little further than some of the other ones were. So just put a little on there. Or something like this.
We took some really cool pictures of some mossy awnings. Or no, it was a sign.
Awnings.
Was it a sign or an awning?
It's awnings over
It
the
was an
dentist.
awning on a restaurant, and it was really nasty, black and green and all that. But you know, if you do this and you get into this kind of thing, and you start seeing the real world as it is, it was pretty wild. Okay, there, I'm leaving that. That's enough of that. It doesn't take much to overdo it. Okay, so see, there's the two. They're close enough. When you put these apart like this, oops, try to keep them in the light, they're going to be fine. When that dries down, and I'm going to spray some, I don't know, just hairspray or some clear, but I got to put something on them. But that's going to pretty much even them out. What are you doing? You don't fall down unless I tell you to. And then same with this kind of thing. You know, and like I said, it's all different. I mean, it rains different on things. Some things rot faster than others. Some things weather faster than others. Moss grows faster, more sun on it or less sun on it. You all right?
It's hot.
Oh, I thought I was talking you to death. So, look at my hands already. Now, let's hit this other side. Let me, where's my paint? Let's gear up with a little bit more of this. Boy, I am big on this stuff. It's very wet. Wettish. Look at that. That's horrible stuff. And don't stand it upside down, even though the lid says you can. And when you open it up, all kinds of things happen. So, all right. Oh, I need my little gold here again. Need a little more of that. Wee dab of this will do you. Oh, something else to show you too. Cool. I was working on. You know, I'm putting lights in the. I don't know if you saw the diamond coal mine thing that I got from Cornerstone that I'm working on. But anyways,
All this stuff. for
you
heaven's
sit
sake.
still and don't worry about what I do. See this right there? This is going to be a telephone pole. Now, in order to make it look good and put the light in part of this building, I'm going to put this telephone pole out there. I'll probably cut it off right about here somewhere. And then the cable hangs from here. Well, this is going to be my insulator. And this is a little piece of copper wire, and this is an earring backing. That you put the earring in your ear, and then you shove this on there to hold your earring on. Some of you guys, young guys, might get that, and even some of you older guys, you old hippies. And then your cable drapes from here over to the building, then drapes from here to the next pole, and so on, and blah, blah, blah. So that's what I'm working on there. So we just rummaged through a few things and found all these. So that's how that works. Hey, but the glue doesn't work all that good. I'm going to have to use probably my... Of course, this glue takes forever to dry, too. That's embarrassing. But that's all right. We'll try it. But now you see, the creative mind. Let your mind flow. Let it flow. Wanda. All right, now back to this. A little bit of this. Scrub this on everything, everywhere. I know you're probably tired of watching already, but you know, nobody says you got to stay here. I think it's great that you even tuned in. You have no idea how much I appreciate it. Somebody clicked on here and watched a little bit of this. Means a lot to me. I like to help people. But a lot of people just don't. I don't know. They don't want to listen. They don't want to take instruction. I remember giving Mr. Smith a hard time when I was in vocational school. He taught me, he was my martial art teacher. I gave that guy more crap, and he was such an understanding guy, man. He just made a sign painter out of me, taught me how to letter, took me under his wing, took me to work with him to letter trucks. He did it on the weekends and vacation days from teaching. And what a great guy. You know, you can learn so much from the most unobvious people. But taught me all kinds of stuff. There we go. All right, we've all got this now. Now we got that.
A little bit of this orange here, someplace in here. This is a nice part, do what you want. And then back to my little yellowish. Put this around here. Maybe around the corner a little bit, because some of these rocks go around the curve. Now look at that. Look how cool that looks. Not the face. I know you see a little face right there, but there's a little face right there. See the two eyes and a little nose and a little tiki mouth, little tiki man or something. Anyways, look how cool that looks. I just took the knife and sliced it sideways a little bit in that corner. And I think it's cool. Did that stay in focus? Okay. Cool. Now then, so where were we? A little bit of this, a little bit of that, a little bit of this. Now some black. I need some more black. That's what we're doing up here. Always keeping the moss and stuff starting at the top. And this here, and this. Now something's wrong here. What am I missing? What am I doing wrong? This down here a little bit. Well, I'm not really doing anything wrong per se, but you get the idea. Okay, now how does that compare? A little different, but still cool. Right? That's all right. Ah, green. A little bit of that. Just for the mossy touch. Not Kate moss. Not peat moss. Not a moss pit. Oh wait, that's a mosh pit. I know, I'm carrying on now. But anyways, a little bit up here. And this is where you just do whatever you want. Nobody cares. It's yours. It's your little world. You can do whatever you want in it. That's the cool thing about it, really. Okay, now you're pushing me the wrong direction here. Get back up there. No, not what I want. Now I've got to clean this off and start over. All right, need a little bit more of my yellow color here. That's what's missing. Getting too much green in there. But see, you just change as you go. Just change it. That's all. Fix it. If you don't like it, do something different. Nobody telling you you can't. One thing this takes, more than anything, and I don't have any really, is patience. I have like zero patience. I want things done now. I want them yesterday. And that's not good. That gets me in all kinds of trouble, even at my age. All right, a little bit up here. Almost time to concrete the top and the bottom. Okay, I'm out again. Oh, my telephone pole. Better come to the rescue, Mr. Electric Man. All right, come on. Here, boy. Come on, paint. Good paint. All right, sit, Uber. All right, we're getting there. Please stand by. Here's my dog, Molly. Do you hear the dog, Molly?
I do.
There
She's not
she is.
snoring today. The last few videos she was
I know.
snoring
If you
her
listen
head
back to our video, this video, in a couple different places, you can hear Molly snoring. The dog gets more sleep than we do. All right, look at this go, huh? All right, so a little more mossiness, a little blackishness up yonder. And I'm going to say this is about done. And I can say that because I already had the colors all dug out, so that made it a little easier. Maybe just a tad of black here yet. Just a wee bit. Okay. Let's call that a day, huh? What do you think? Maybe just a hair of this over here yet? Lost touch with that color a little bit. Let's get a little bit back on here. All right. So what do you think? Oh, gotta wipe it off. Notice the other one's a little more gray. I think I put it on heavier on here. Well, this is a different foam too. Now I see that this takes foam a little, or takes paint a little bit different. I see, said the blind man. Wow, okay. Well, that's something to bear in mind too. If you're going to make something out of one type of material, you better use the same thing, unless you're like me and you don't care what it looks like, as long as it looks good. So there. Oh, that's better. And they're going to be probably, well, they're going to be 11 inches apart, so you're going to be generally like that. So that's fine. I don't think that's bad. What you say?
All right.
Yeah, all right then. Yeah, look at the texture on this foam compared to that. I like that blue foam better. All right, so anyways, now let's get the concrete on there. Get this thing finished up. So, mortar it is. Brush, lots of water, stick it in the mortar, let her go. Just like so. Oh, I know what I forgot. Idiot. Wet it first, or the mortar won't stick to it. Kind of like this. Get your water on it. Get your water in here. Get some water around here, because it's not going to dry up right away. Alright. Keep this watered. Water in here. Water in here. Gotta get it watered up. Then put this in there. There. Now you can see how it sticks a little better. Okay, if you can see, it's more like mortar.
Looks like that breakfast you made me this morning.
Boy.
What was it?
Mortar mix. It's my wife's birthday. So I made her concrete pancakes for breakfast. Wait till she hits the shitter lady. Alright, see that? There it is. And you can put a little bit of this along here, like so, up underneath. I'm just kind of mortaring this in a little bit along here. There you go. Now I'll go back and I'll touch that paint up a little bit so it's nice and pristine. But this is basically almost done here, really. And I still got one more to make, which of course I'm not going to be videoing that. You sure you don't want me to get the tripod?
Bit late now.
No, it's never too late.
You're almost done unless you're going to babble on all night.
I plan on talking the rest of my days. They're limited, you know. Well, I'm trying to get it in there. It doesn't want to. Oh, there you go.
But there, sorry. That's basically it. Wait a minute. Let's get a little up in here. Wow, that really needs some there, doesn't it? Let's get some more in there. Okay, a little bit of mortar missing here, a little mortar missing there. Oh, need some on this end. There. Now, I'll get a little paint, tidy it up a wee bit. We'll leave that out. That could have fallen out. You know how dangerous that could be. I hope some little kids were playing down there and a couple of rocks fell on their head. Why would I say that? I don't know. All right. And boy, when you're done using this mortar too, go clean your brush out. Don't wait too long. I was digging mortar out of this brush forever. All right, now we need, oh, I didn't even do the bottom one, did I? Oh, you idiot. All right, well, let's paint this up here while the brush is clean. Just a wee bit of it. About like that somewhere. Maybe a little green to bring it back. Okay, a bit there. Yeah, that's all it needs, is that right there. Just a little zoom across over the brush. Yeah, that's fine. Probably too much water in that, I bet. Okay, there's that. I'm going to call that done. Do the other end. You about had enough yet?
We almost, yeah.
Why don't you switch arms? Camera lady has been holding this thing the whole time. All right, so let's do this time with this mortar. Let's try this. See what happens. Let's mix this up right here on the palette. See what it looks like in the cup as it gets more wet. Of course, it starts to harden. I tried this the other day, that's why I guess I just remembered it. But I tried to mix it up here just a little bit, and it made it a little bit easier than dipping it in there and mixing it right on the piece. Like this. Come here, you. All right, doesn't want to work that way, so. On with the mortar. Actually running out. Well, if you're watching still, I hope you're having a good stiff drink. And just kind of kick back and at least learning something, or just, I don't know, whatever you're doing. But like I've said like a million times already, just be yourself and enjoy it, make what you want out of it. Or drop it and ruin it. You can do that too. I can't get this to work now. What's wrong here? Oh, everything's getting too hard in there now. Break it up a little bit. There it is. Now see, I don't want to get too much down here because if you remember, I made these little cracks, like cracked concrete and stuff, so I don't want to fill them over.
What would you do? Would you refine them again with your knife once it's all dry?
I don't know. I haven't tried that before. I've never done this before. But that doesn't mean that's not a bad idea. Probably be the thing to do, actually. Because that would... that would give it a little more depth, allow a little more shadow into it. Are we getting there?
We're there.
Well, glory be. Look at that there, then. Won't you have a look-see? Way to be, laddie, way to be. All right, that's good enough. By the time I put grass at the base and all those other things, that'll be it. Speaking of that, let's glue a couple of those. Should we wait for it to dry?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll make one more little video in a while here. And we'll put all the little decorative pieces on there to make it kind of more realistic. All right, so for now, here's what we have. There it is. There it is. There it is.
Now is the time to go out in your garden and look in your grass, because all those things right there, they come off the trees.
Yes, all these are little seedlings out of the yard.
And they're all, they all make nice little plants.
This, I made this out of some rope my dad had. He was a tree trimmer all his life, so we had all these climbing ropes. And this is some old hemp rope that I just made these out of, just experiment with it. And it's not all right. A little more work, a little more time. I'll get them right. But basically, there it is. That's what you get.
Ta-da!
And like I said, we'll come back and grass it up a little, and that'll be the end of that.
When?
Okay, time to jazz it up a little bit. So, the wife has been gathering these little goodies out of the yard. And you can paint these colors if you want. Spray paint them with some color. I wouldn't try brushing them. Now, she had suggested maybe just taking like a bright pink or red or something and just touching the tips of some of these and maybe making flowers, colored flowers on them or something. I may try that sometime, but for now, my world is dead. So anyways, and these little things, you probably might have seen these in your yard, on your mower, your riding mower or something laying on the deck, but anyways, these little jobbers. So, there's basically what they are. I'm just going to glue them on there. And, you know, like that, some of them have the long stems on them. Well, that one fell apart. But anyways, there's all different shapes and sizes of this stuff. And it's all in your yard. And the scale is okay. You know, I'm not against making some of this stuff and having it just a little bigger. And I think a lot of people will mention that sometimes you just kind of have to overscale things just to hear, so, I don't know, they're noticeable or something. I mean, like this electric pole that's going to carry the wires for the coal mill, and I'm going to use one for the turntable building and some of the other ones. It's reality. But, you know, by the time I cut these off, they're like 6 inches high, and I think that's somewhere close to HO scale anyways. And then drape my cables off of this thing. And as I said earlier, that's a backing for an earring. That's going to be my ceramic, you know what they are, insulator. So there's, you know, that thing. So you just use your imagination. So it's a little bigger, or a little bigger around or something. It's still, it'll serve the person. By the time I cut it off and put weeds growing around the base and sprinkle some gravel and dress it all up, I think it'll be fine. You know, so... You know, just believe in yourself when you do this kind of stuff. Enjoy every minute of it. Let's finish this up and get out of here, because this is a long video, and I hope you stayed around to see most of it, or all of it. I hope you learned something. I don't know. Nobody may even watch this, but I tried. So anyways, root system. Now, these fingernail clippers, I use these things for all kinds of stuff, but just clip these off. And remember, when you glue these on here, don't glue it like this. Don't put your base up here. Put it down here. So when you put this thing in place,
it's growing out of the ground, not growing out of the concrete. Now, if you have little tufts of grass, if you will, growing along here out of the holes in the concrete and all that, or even up here, you know, if you want to put some up there, that's different. But these long crawling vines like this is, you know, they got to be sitting on this where this is, and you can always trim these off if you have dirt that happens to come up too high or something. So let's get these glued together, and you'll see what the final outcome is. So there's that. Just simply, wherever you want, really. Just a little bit of stupid glue on here, like so. And hold it down there for a minute. Make sure you get enough glue on it too, because these things are kind of, I don't know, I think I'm running out of glue probably. I have to get another tube here. But anyways, just glue these on. Just drop a drop on it. And leave it sit. And I kind of like, I don't care if the glue shows a little bit. It's not going to hurt. If somebody can't understand that it was glued on, well, that's not my problem. But anyways, leave them sticking out from the wall a little bit or something, you know, just whatever they are, that's what you do with them, because that's the 3D effect. Like this one, you know. This thing's going to be just, what you see is what you get. So just glue it in place. Don't worry about what it's going to look like, because it's going to be fine. No matter how you do it, it's going to be all right. And then like this, it's touching here, so we'll just glue it there. Okay. And there it is. That's about it for that part. And what else do you need? Now you can put little things growing out of these cracks, little tiny, tiny, tiny vines. All right. Now, like over on the end, if I want something a little different, I think that'll hold long enough. I didn't put any pressure on that super glue, so I got to watch it. It's funny how it really needs the pressure to work. But now let me get my pretty little pink tweezers, and we'll stick this on here. Now this would be growing up out of the dirt next to it. So in order to make this work, we'll put this down beside here. So we'll glue it right about here. Okay, nice big drop of glue. And we'll put this right here. Now see, that's a little shy, but that's okay, because by the time I put dirt and things down there, it'll be fine. And then over here on this side, again, whatever you think, just, you know, let your mind wander. And we'll just glue this. Where can we put this? Anywhere. How about right here? There we go, gluing my fingers together again. Boy, I did that the other day, man. I barely got them apart. Okay, there's that. Let's just stick this one scrawny little thing on here. And I think that'll be the end of it. About like so, yeah, that'll work. There's my tweezers. And then again, spray them with something over top of them, some dull coat or whatever you really think you need. Now this one, I'm gonna, you know what? I'm gonna leave this stick out from there. Because once I place this in the dirt, it's gonna look like, or well, you know what I mean. When I put the dirt around it and stuff, it's gonna look like it's coming up out of the dirt and growing next to it instead of right on it, like a climbing vine. So I'd say we're about good here. I'm not going to overdo it, because I'm still going to add other stuff later as we go along. So I think one more piece and we'll wrap this up. Wife will be glad of that. Her arm's probably about broken by now. We're sitting there holding that camera for like over an hour or more. All right, behave a minute. You can do this. Uh-oh, where'd it go? Oh, stuck to my finger. Okay, there it is. Well, that's all we're going to do to it. We got our little weedy things here. So see what we did? Very simple. Now when I place this under the bridge and set the bridge on it, then when I do the landscaping underneath, there'll be more grass and weeds or dirt or stones or whatever. But I think that's it. So I'm done here. There you go, one last look at it, just to see. Let your imagination roam, folks. You can build your own world and make it whatever you want it to be. All right? So that's it. Thank you all for watching. If you made it through the whole thing, thank you very much. Hope you got something out of the deal. I know I said that before, but other than that, here's the bridge, you know, by, which I keep wanting to show somebody and I keep forgetting, but basically this is what's going to sit on the top of this thing. Is another one similar to this. And it'll be basically like this. If you can see that end of it. Can you go up just a little bit higher and shoot down at it? Yeah, that's it. Just enough to get the idea. So this will be somewhere in this neck of the wood. Hopefully I'll get a little set of foot pads under it, which would raise it up a little bit. But you get the idea. Again, we're done.